moon. That's quite a long time ago. And he matriculated in 1973. He was a boarder at Schoolhouse and spent some of his years as a boarder at Buxton. But more recently, Enzio has served the school in his capacity as a governor on the finance committee for some 7 or 8 years and served on the governing body in 2010 through to 2012. So we look forward to hearing from Enzio Zambetti this morning.
It's quite intimidating to be standing here in front of all these old boys and even the young boys. Good morning, all the boys, the educators, and of course the old boys. Today I'm privileged to stand here talking on behalf of the class of 1973. We were 146 boys who graduated that year, and now 40 years later we've got 53 boys coming back for the reunion. I think that's incredible. Of course, 1973 was a very famous year for the Reds team. Captain Bali Barnard in front. They were unbeaten that year, and had Chris Blackburn not dropped the ball as he dived over for the winning shot against Pretoria boys, we would have won them all. Maybe that's why Chris hasn't come this morning. Anyway, that team was so successful, and they came so close that quite a lot of them decided to try again. And they tried again in 1974. Me? Got it right that year. They won all their games in 74. Both years captain by Yvonne. Right. It's quite gratifying to see quite a lot of their first team are present today, and well done to all of them. Most of these guys, or many of these guys, have travelled from all over the world to be here. You won't believe they've come from as far as the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Holland, Germany, America, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong. That's like pretty much all over the world. And that's how far the old boys have gone. Lots of you guys have come up from Cape Town, Port Elizabeth and Durban. Thanks for making the trip as well. Errol loved our idea so much he came here for Christmas and stayed for the reunion. Thanks for your help, Errol. A lot of guys couldn't make it today, and they're all dreadfully, sorry, and they were already asking me to organise a 50th. So I look forward to seeing you again in 10 years' time. Tonight we're having our reunion dinner, and we're even more fortunate that we've got 3 of our educators from way back in 73 that are able to come and will join us. It's Tim Evans, Roger Balachamia, and Albie Jerry. So we're looking forward to seeing them. One of our old boys has got very white hair, still wearing his coloured blazer, has come all the way from Canada, where he works in the telecom industry. And he told me of a time some years ago when he visited the northernmost pub in the world. He found a chap speaking in a strange accent, and he said, I recognise that accent. So he spoke to the guy. He turned out to be another Cares old boy. So the two of them stood there in the northernmost pub in the world and did the walk around. Everybody else thought they were nuts. You know, when we were at school back in 73, we knew we were part of something special. And that made us special too. I don't think we all really understood what it was. And over the last 40 years, on many occasions, we said, what is it that makes a Cares boy special? No one's really come up with the answer. And I think it's a combination of the tradition in the school, the history, the Armistice Day parade, the guys fighting on duty outside, the pub band that's forever practicing under the trees down there, the passion on the sports fields, but most important, always the respect we show the adults and the good manners of all the boys of the school. And I think all of those things go to make the Cares boy special. Whatever it was in our day, it's still there today. And it's the same things that make you guys special. And to be to the old boys. To be a King Edward Old Boy means being part of a very, very special club. There are only maybe about 6,000 or 7,000 old boys alive in the world today. And only these guys are entitled to say, I am a King Edward Old Boy. And these guys are all over the world and in all spheres of influence. So wherever you end up in the world one day, I'm pretty sure you're going to find an influential King Edward Old Boy nearby that can help you in your life. I've always been proud to tell people I am a King Edward Old Boy. And whenever I tell people that, you can see the little nod of approval coming back your way. You're a King Edward Old Boy. Well done. I'm sure all the old boys here agree with that. And the reason we can do that 40 years later is because the school has always maintained its standards. And it still remains a leading school in this country today. So my message to you boys is, look after the school while you're here. And look after it when you are gone. So that you can always say for the rest of your lives, you're proud to be King Edward Old Boy. And in conclusion, I also want to read a quote. Mr. H.A. Hoffmeyer, who was a governor of the school, I think it's the man from the board over there, wrote in 1934, our school is a growing educational and civic force. In spite of its youth, it has established a high tradition. It has become a power for good. Let us, governors, masters, parents, boys, uphold its honour and fair fame, and deem it unthinkable that by word or deed, now or ever, any single one of us should bring blemish or stain on its name or reputation. King Edward's is worthwhile. Thank you guys, and good luck against Monash tomorrow.
Class of 1988. Michael, sorry. He told me his name is Matthew. We even spoke about Well, someone from 1988. This someone attended King Edward for his entire high school career. And I'm glad to know it was only 5 years, unlike some previous old boys. Played first team scrum half for the Reds. He was a colorsman in 1987. Unfortunately, injury prevented him from playing in his matric year. He was also the team manager for athletics. He was the cricket second 11 vice captain and wicket keeper. He was a school and hostel prefect, having spent time both schoolhouse and in Buxton. Post-school, he obtained a BA and LLB degrees and entered into the legal profession. It's our pleasure this morning to listen now to Matthew Pohl.
Thank you, Mr. McMurray. On behalf of the class of 1988, to Mr. Lovett, to your staff, to the young men of the school, and the not so young men gathered here today, thank you so much for welcoming us here today and for letting us join in your assembly with you on the occasion of our 25th reunion. I've always been very proud to be an old boy of the school, but I'm particularly honoured that I've been asked to address the school on behalf of my year 1988. It might just be that no one else wanted the job, but nevertheless it's a massive privilege and honour for me, so thank you for that. It means so much to us to be here again today to reunite here after 25 years. It's particularly nice to have all of you inside the hall and no one standing outside the headmaster's office. An indication of how much this great school means to our classmates and how much our classmates mean to us is the effort that has been put into this day. Old boys from our year, similar to the 1973 class have travelled from all over the world to be here today. From the UAE, from the USA, from Australia, from the UK, and from all over this country, Cape Town, Plettenberg Bay, Durban, Port Alfred. We even got someone from Meyersdal. Thanks for coming, Chris. But although everyone had to make an effort to be here today, the chaps who came from afar, the extra effort, the extra commitment, thank you. It wouldn't have been the same without you here today. Thank you, guys. Unfortunately, a number of our classmates who couldn't make it for various reasons, and also, sadly, some of them have passed on. So I just pause for a moment and we think of those who can't be here with us today, and we miss them. We've all been looking forward to this day with a huge amount of excitement for a long time now. And I'd just like to take the chance, the opportunity now to thank Donnie Gilroy, the old boy from our class who organised this. Thank you, Donnie. Donnie's one of those special old boys. He loved the school so much, instead of spending 5 years here, he spent 6. It is a bit of a cliche, but it really feels like yesterday, and these 25 years have really gone by in a flash. But largely because of the lessons we learned while we were here, we've been able to face up to the challenges that have confronted us along our way. All these challenges which are part of life. I'd like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to this great school and to the teachers that we were fortunate enough to have to teach us and guide us while we were here. I can't name them all, but many of them played a significant role in shaping our lives and preparing us for the road ahead. Some of them left indelible impressions on us from their wisdom, from the lessons they taught us. Others left some fairly serious bruises from the caning back then. Corporal punishment hadn't been declared unconstitutional in the 80s. Many of us don't realise until long after school just how important our teachers are to us. So, to the young men here still at the school, I urge you to give that some thought, recognise it, and understand that your teachers deserve an enormous amount of respect. We learn many things during our time here. If you look at the academic roll at the back there, some of us learned it more than others. But as I mentioned to you, I'm particularly proud to be a member of our 1988 year. I'm proud to be a part of a year that has produced the caliber of person I'm very proud to call my classmates. These are men who have excelled in all walks of life, in all different aspects. Some in the public sphere, some privately, big businesses, small businesses, the corporate world, etc., the sporting world. Their roles as husbands and fathers. But it's not surprising that King Edward should have produced the men of the caliber that I'm proud to call my classmates. That is what King Edward does. That is what it has always done, and it's up to you boys to make sure that it continues to do so. We lived in a very different world 25 years ago. Things today, which are taken for granted, simply didn't exist. Cell phones, the internet, iPads, iPods, etc. The ANC was a banned terrorist organisation. So it was a very different world. So although there have been many changes in these last 25 years, the core and fundamental values of King Edward's remain, and that is what helps to make it such a great school. And I believe that those fundamental values are summarised in our motto, Strenue. Now, I'm not referring to the literal translation, the 5A Latin class. You boys can give us that if we want. But what I'm referring to is actually what our motto really means. To me, and I think for my classmates here today, Strenue means, and in fact demands, many different qualities, principles and values of us. Things like strength, courage, excellence, commitment, honesty, pride, perseverance, passion, dedication, focus, integrity, and as we used to say, red spirit. That is what you boys are immersed in here every day. That is what you guys must take advantage of, and you must take it on board and live by those values and by those principles. We urge you to embrace and strive to achieve the values of this great institution. Those values and the lessons you learn here will help to equip you guys to deal with the challenges that you're going to have to face in the road ahead. It's not a question of if there will be challenges, it's just what the challenges are and how you're going to face them. And it's not just challenges after school. You're facing challenges now. So it's how you deal with them, how you rise up to those challenges. As 1988, we were very proud of our 1988 red side. Played 17 matches, won 16, lost only 1. Scored 69 tries, 54 of which were scored by the back line. So it was a fantastic team and we were very proud of it. But one can't judge a year or a school just by its team. That's just one team, a few boys that make up the whole school. I'm not trying to understate the importance of playing in the first side. It's a massive honour and a massive privilege. And it's something that you should be proud of if you manage to achieve it. But I believe it's important to remember that the first team wouldn't mean so much if the rest of this great school and all of you boys were not behind it. The first team wouldn't mean so much if there wasn't a second team, a third team, fourth, fifth, and sixth team. The first teams, they've got their first team crests that they put on their jerseys, on their shirts. But every single one of you, each and every one of you, you all wear the school's crest on your blazers. So what I'm trying to say is that all of you are important. Not just the chaps in the first team or the A team. Every single one of you are important. And perhaps even more important than the boys in the first team. A simple gesture, like greeting a visitor to the school, can go a lot further and often makes a much bigger impression than winning a rugby match. And also conversely, should anyone fail to show the manners that we're known for and not greet a visitor, that will create a much worse impression than simply losing a rugby match. So boys, all of you are ambassadors, you all represent your school. Every single one of you is important. I believe the true measure of a school and its pupils is how they stand up to adversity and how they are regarded by their rivals, by their other schools. The devastating lightning strike earlier this year, as terrible as it was for the entire King Edward's community, also demonstrated to us how great the school is and what a great place it actually is in it today. To try and illustrate this point, I received an email also from a fellow old boy. Incidentally, he was a matric when I was in Standard 6. We're good friends now. He sent me an email and there was an attachment, something to the effect, King Edward VII School united in the face of adversity. And the message he wrote was just simply, wow. So I wasn't sure what this was about. Opened up the video clip. And for those few of you who may not have seen it, it was our boys in the quadrangle with their leaders, with the prefects. And they were saying their war cries and they were getting together in solidarity and support of those boys who were injured that day from the lightning strike. For me, it was the most powerful and moving display of unity, pride, and passion that I've ever seen from the school. I commend all of you. I commend the leadership amongst the boys for how you dealt with that challenge and how you faced it bravely and you faced it head on. Having seen that, I have no doubt that the pride and passion that makes King Edward's what it is flowing very strongly through all of you. I doubt because of this that there are any challenges that you boys cannot face, provided you show that same sort of resolve, that same passion, and that same pride. Another example demonstrating what a great place our school is in today, also flowing from that unfortunate incident. I have a colleague at work. He went to another school, he went to St. Albans, and we've often got the friendly jibes teasing each other about the different schools. But a couple of days after the lightning strike, he sent me a photograph, and it was a photo of two of the cricketers from St Albans in their first team cricket shirts. But tied around their arm was red tape around each of their arms, in solidarity and identifying and in sympathy, identifying with the boys of the school. It's an incredible mark of respect that you can all be very proud of, that you've earned that kind of respect from other schools. I've mentioned challenges and how they need to be faced. And you'll be facing some challenges on the sports fields tomorrow. For the rugby teams, Monument is a significant challenge. But as you've already proved, we are not frightened of any challenges. And we know that we don't back down from any challenges, especially when we're wearing that red jersey. We will all be there tomorrow for you. We'll be supporting the Reds and the other teams playing tomorrow. And we know that you will do your school proud. You have what it takes to meet the challenges that you're facing. We must make sure, boys, that when that final whistle blows tomorrow afternoon, Monument must know that they have faced the mighty Reds. Monument is also a tough team in our day, much bigger, much stronger than us. And I remember that afternoon in 1988, I wasn't playing, but we arrived at their fields. It was an away game on a cold afternoon. And there, these big guys, they were expecting to just walk all over us. Well, probably best summed up in the one-liner in the school magazine for that year, commenting on that game. The words were, "The most thrilling game of the season. True Red spirit." We beat them 20 points to 10, and that was in the days when the trial was still only 4 points. So boys, we're looking forward to seeing some of that true Red spirit tomorrow. Whilst it's important to do your best and to strive to achieve the best that you can, whether it's academically, culturally, or on the sports field, try and get your name up in gold on these honours boards. And if you manage to achieve that, that's something to be very proud of. But what is so much more important is something else. It doesn't matter whether your name is up in gold, written up in gold on these hallowed walls. What matters, and what I think is more important, is whether you have Strenue and all that it means, whether you've got that written here in your hearts, boys. From our class of 1988, I hope for you is that you learn and continue to recognize the difference between pride and arrogance, between true strength and brute force, and between earning respect and demanding respect. We also hope that when it's your 25th reunion, you too will have the same pride, the same excitement and fond memories which we are fortunate to enjoy here today and that we're experiencing now. We hope that you too will have the same type of strong bonds of friendship that we still enjoy today. We hope that you too will still get goosebumps when we do our war cry, as we do today. And we hope that you will also all be comforted, as we are, in the knowledge that our school, this great place, is still filled with young men who strive and achieve according to the principles of Strenue. Thank you.
Introduce Matthew. Boys, it's quite easy to get 50%. Matthew Pohl matriculated in 1993 from King Edward. Matthew was head of schoolhouse and a school prefect. He played all sports, including rugby, cricket and athletics. He also went on to represent the South African schools polo, and here we're talking about equestrian on horse. In 1993 as an extramural activity. He also played polo professionally, travelling between Australia, the United Kingdom and Argentina annually as a full-time professional polo player. In 2008, he qualified as a registered financial planner and joined the family business. And besides working the family business, he was part of a group of founding partners of Sky Blue Capital, South Africa's leading green energy fund. Matthew.
Thank you very much for that great introduction. Just a couple of additions that you might not have got on your page. I was the unofficial head boy for the whole of 92 and 93. The most capped third-team rugby player in the history of the game. I played for Mr. Moffat's third rugby team for 3 years running. Still waiting for my opportunity, Mr. Moffat. Anyway, good day, pupils, teachers, class. It's my pleasure to stand here today and represent the class of 1993. It's such a wonderful opportunity to come back to the school to see all the faces and recognise and sometimes not recognise some of the guys. A number of our guys also made a huge effort to get here. Unfortunately, 2 had a last-minute cancellation, Neil Shackleton and Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers, we needed to make a special thank you for because he was the one who basically got us all involved in coming through here today and organising the event. So a bit sad that Carl couldn't make it, but our thoughts go out to him, so thank you, Carl. Walking to the school grounds this morning has brought back so many wonderful memories, and at the same time has shown us how things have changed. In 1993, we used to use the form as to depict which year of school you were in. Now we use grades. The only grades we used in our years were you were a higher grade, standard grade, or lower grade. Or as we called it back then, BOFs, standard grade and rower grade. I think Darren McQuaid was the only pupil to matriculate in 93 with 7 distinctions, all on rower grade. And he represented South Africa at the Henry Regatta later that year, so that probably explains why. In 1993, fringes were in, the violent femmes were the band of choice, and 3-5, or in Rogers' case, 18-hole Dr. Martens were the shoes that got you to school. And who could forget Toppy Fry, our geography teacher? Spent more time discussing the rules of dating fine women than the formulation of cumulonimbus clouds. David the Rave, the art teacher, who was never seen without a multi-coloured waistcoat and a frown. Mr. Retreat, who when jacks were being dished out, gave us an option. 3 met die plathart of 1 met die venster open. The day that Gigantic chose the window opener was the day that will live in infamy. Mr. Sanders, our library teacher, who on a day of life skills training spent the whole day teaching us the skill in the art of rolling off a bonnet of a car when it hits you. And most importantly, who could ever forget Miss King's legs? Running the gauntlet, collecting bottles, cashing in for Chelsea buns on Friday. At the tuck shop, the privilege of enjoying a KFC rounder on Fridays with a movie at Buxton formed all part of our weekly routine. Not only did the school teach us routine, discipline, respect, but it gave us a very insightful base for which we could use to run our out-of-school lives. In each and every one of our lives, there is, I believe, a few moments that stand out as life-changing moments. Mine came in 1990. We were in Form 2, Standard 7, Grade 9. It was the culmination of the athletic season. A few points, it was the culmination of the athletic season and the final inter-schools meet of the year. It was held down the road in St. John's. The usual schools were competing: Saints, ourselves, Jeppe, Parktown, St. James, John's. And I think that year they allowed Highland North to come across Leudworth for some reason, I'm still not sure why. It was near the end of the day, and we were within a few points of Saints, with only 3 events left to go. The 400 open hurdles and 2 4x100 relays. We had competed a number of times against these schools that summer, and we knew the relay was a 50-50. But the race before that was a sure thing. As we had our very own special weapon, we went by the name of Glenn Treble. Glenn was a Transvaal hurdler and sprinter at the time, and held all sorts of records. From an early age, he was destined for greatness, an athletic god of sorts. The scene was set, the officials got the athletes into each of their lanes. They checked their blocks and did a few final stretches before the start. Myself and Bucknell, now in Form 2, hoofed a couple of you boys scum off the bottom bench in the stand to assume our rightful place for the view of the race. The officials went through their regular pre-race routine, and after recalling the start once, the race was off with a clap of the gun. As they were off, the scoreboard at the time, we were a few points down and needed this win desperately to secure the day. As Treble approached the first hurdle, we all choked as he wrapped himself around that hurdle and came down. like a pack of stuffed chips. As you can imagine, the whole school went silent. Shocked and disappointed, all our hearts sank in unison as we watched the day go by, out with the victory with it. Treble started to untangle himself from that hurdle. He gathered himself, and at this point, we thought the day was done. It would take a miracle to win. It was then we saw Treble from a standing start, and with what by now must have been a 1 to 1.5 hurdle handicap, restarted his race. He cleared the first 2 hurdles on the starting bend and seemed to find a bit of rhythm. It was by halfway down the back hurdle when he overtook the 6-foot locust lookalike from Highlands North. We probably could have gone quicker because I'm skipping jumping down the remainder of the way. By this stage, they're very slow goes had started. He entered the final 200 metre bend and had made good ground, sitting in 4th place. We knew he was in the inside lane, so we knew he had a chance. But could he really do this? As he hit the final straight, he seemed to find another gear, and now he was running the race as if there actually were no hurdles. Our gentle go school was now a fever-pitched scream. Treble in the final 100 passed 2 competitors and was neck and neck with the first place racer. It was as if time stood still as we all, with tears in our eyes and blood in our throats, watched as he finished the race in first place by a whisker. If one had ever experienced hysteria, that was as close as it was ever going to be. My point of the story is not the fact that Treble showed the determination, guts, fortitude to restart the race, or that he believed he had what it would take to win from that position. Because I believe the instinct is something that every King Edward's boy has naturally in his DNA. My point is that after having been privileged to pass through this system, this institution, or even club we call school, we all, every single one of us, are better for it. And I believe every single one of us has a Treble moment within us. This great school is the catalyst that brings it out in us. Whether it be on the rugby field, the hockey pitch, the pool, the debating podium, stage, or in life generally. We all have been exposed to the unexplained X factor, or could I dare I say, the cares factor. I firmly believe tradition is one of the keystones to our success here at the school, and I thank the school for keeping the tradition as pure as possible. Treble tragically passed away later that year, and the inscription on the in the centre half could not stand more true. Sons of this place, let this of you be said, that you who lived are worthy of your dead. So in closing, we are looking forward to watching you guys out there on the sports fields tomorrow. We will be there supporting you through every single hurdle that you have. And remember one thing, to try and run your race as if there are no hurdles. Thank you very much.